But the banana zone is a much bigger concept. And I put a big long tweet thread that I urge you to read about it. And I know a lot of you have. It was hugely well received, explaining that it's not just, oh, Raoul's posted a chart that crypto goes up like this at the end of the cycle. It's nothing to do with that. It's why. It's about liquidity. It's about liquidity cycles. It's about debt refinancing. It's about the everything code. And
Real Vision founder and CEO Raoul Pal anticipates the banana zone. Every crypto bull market has insane parabolic prices here. Pal expects this long-awaited phase to begin in a few weeks. Pal expects crypto asset prices to rise so rapidly and by such large quantities that it will be hard to stay up. Pal believes the crypto market will double before the cycle ends in 2025, from $2.2 trillion to $1 to $5 trillion after reaching the banana zone. Pal presented fresh insights about the banana zone on X. Pal's tweets affect global liquidity and Bitcoin prices. Economic growth occurs in 4 stages over the business cycle. The global liquidity cycle, cyclical after the 2008 debt reset, creates peak contraction and trough. Pal argues that after the great financial crisis, central banks all stopped paying interest and started a new cycle every 3 to 4 years. This perfect macro cycle coincides with the 4-year Bitcoin cycle and the US election cycle, which always causes extra noise. In one tweet, CodeBuddy said almost exactly, the business cycle repeats as liquidity rising currency debasement to pay for debt rollovers loses all anchor in a debt cycle. Asset prices rise when the denominator fiat money is devalued. The Real Vision CEO provides his whole thesis and predictions regarding Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in a new Raoul Pal, the YouTube channel video, showing clips from that video. If you liked it, subscribe and enable post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks and enjoy the video.
banana zone is that period when you transition out of macro crypto spring into crypto macro summer. Now, it happens to bizarrely coincide with the transition to summer that many of us are having. I mean, the Cayman Islands, it's summer all the time. I know your heart bleeds for me, but some of us got to live this life. I take it seriously. So the banana zone is when that happens, usually after the halving, there's this consolidation period, down 20%, chopping around, the usual stuff. And then it starts gathering, and then it goes crazy. So let me show you a couple of charts on this, just so we're on the same page. So this is global liquidity. This is the GMI global liquidity. This was on that tweet thread. Now, it's a very colorful chart. You probably can't read it. If you're colorblind, you're totally fucked. But what it says is the yellow periods of summer. In summer, what we find is liquidity increases. This is global liquidity, not US liquidity, global liquidity. So in summer, liquidity starts increasing. Obviously, 2020, because of the pandemic, it went bananas. But 2016, 2012, these were good periods for liquidity. And guess what? Crypto, technology, they all rose. Then you get into fall. Fall is often when the real fireworks happen. Liquidity keeps pumping and then eventually tops out into winter. That's when you get the corrections, the crypto down cycles. So we've got the best 2 parts of the cycle to come. Obviously, the best entry was at the bottom of winter. That's when I was buying Solana, Ethereum, all back then. And then I've obviously switched around. So I'm pretty much 100% Solana right now, outside of small meme stuff and other bits and pieces. Because Solana, the Solana Bitcoin cross chart, Solana ETH cross chart looks so compelling that I'm like, if my job here is to make as much money as possible, I'm just going to own the thing that I think is going to go up the most. So that was the view I had. You will have a different way, but please don't get stuck into a narrative. You're still stuck in some fucking token from 3 cycles ago because somebody's telling you that it's going to definitely be the next big thing. It's not big thing after 3 cycles, 2 cycles. It's not going to be the big thing. So just try and make money. I'm trying to allow you not to fuck this up. Don't fuck this up is the key mantra. When you've got a liquidity cycle ahead of you like this, please take advantage of it. The next part of that is the NASDAQ. Maybe you're not crypto people, but God, tech does well in crypto summer. We had an astonishing year last year with long tech all year, astonishingly good year in tech, and it's only going to get crazier. And I'll talk about tech a lot later when I'm talking about where this is all going. and why you've only got 6 years to save yourselves before the world gets a little crazy. But in tech, it is fall that is the big period. The later part of the season is when it goes really bananas. That's after the election. This is the same as the election cycle. The election years are in yellow, then the post-election years, that tends to happen. So liquidity is going to pump into the system. It's going to come from different measures. I'm sure there's going to be questions about this in the chat on Real Vision, realvision.com. If you've not gone there, I'm not going to talk to you ever again. If you do come across the realvision.com, I'll say hi and I'll be very grateful. And it's free and I'm there to ask any questions. Okay, NASDAQ, crypto, because you're all crypto junkies. And the reason you're crypto junkies is it makes more money than anything else. I get it. That's the point. That's the point of investing, is to make as much money as possible. So yellow tends to be in the summer, tends to be decent, but there's been 2 cycles where fall was bananas, total bananas. And then you had the last fall in 2021, which was less so. It's because the liquidity came earlier in 2020. So we don't know how it's going to play out.
Pal is very sure of his argument because it's based on a well-known cycle that hasn't failed in 3 cycles. The macroeconomic cycle has been going for even longer. And if there's one thing you can count on, it's central banks printing more money to make the dollar and other fiat currencies even less valuable. In his Twitter thread, Pal says that the change to macro summer is pretty predictable because of the repeating cycle. This is the everything code. It brings in liquidity growth, which tends to create the banana zone. The odds of this changing significantly are low because of the current debt rollover, the election, and global issues like China. While Pal doesn't say for sure that this cycle will play out like previous cycles, he thinks the chances are pretty high. BlackRock's IBIT and other spot Bitcoin ETFs could make the banana zone even worse, turning this into a completely crazy bubble cycle. But the everything code is the best way to understand it all, and I think it comes with nicely, says the next to last tweet in the thread. Expect a lot of shocks along the way, but the odds are high. Sharp corrections and long sideways markets are also likely. Let's watch the movie again.
It's a chart from Exponential Age Asset Management, which is my fund of hedge funds. So it's an asset management firm that invests in the world's best hedge funds to capture this trend of going from $2.5 billion, where the market cap is now, to 10 trillion, where 10 to 15 trillion, where it is this cycle, and then to 100 trillion, where I think it goes by, let's say 2032, 2034, something like that. This is going to be the biggest, largest, fastest accumulation of wealth in all human history. And that's why I keep saying, don't fuck this up. That's why I have a long-term time horizon. That's why I don't trade around this. Just let it do its job. So here's when we talk about doing its job. So we look at the bottom, the highest return section and the lowest return section. So out of the 3 years, crypto spring, macro spring, summer, and fall, crypto is the best performing asset in the world, bar none. In the next year, in fall, it's the worst performing asset. Okay, so that's what you get. But when you look at the accumulative returns, NASDAQ since 2011 has done 769%. That's amazing, 17% a year. Well, Bitcoin's done 20 million percent at 139% annualized. Ethereum, 324% at 146% annualized. And Solana, which is a shorter history, 8,300% at 203% annualized. These are bonkers. These are bonkers returns, considering in the middle of those, you've had several down 80% corrections, which is why even the big corrections, how terrible they are, they're all noise. If you just hold on, you're generating between 140 and 200% a year. I mean, Solana's at 240% and it went down 94% in 2022. That's how good this asset is. It's an alien asset class. And I know I bleat up a lot about it, and a lot of you are still not yet comfortable with it, but I can't help you anymore that I'm trying to help you to see what this is. It's a fucking gift. It's the greatest gift we've ever been given. So here's the final thing. This is the banana zone. Why it's called the banana zone is because the chart A looks like a banana and B, everything goes bananas. And that comes after the halving, after this consolidation, it does this. Will it be identical? Is 300 grand the price target? Whatever. I don't know, but it will go bananas. unless something dramatic changes. And I do an enormous amount of work on this in Global Macro Investor. And you should, is this chart up on the screen? I'm not sure it is. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I've got a delay. And so I do an enormous amount of work. There's literally thousands of pages of research from Julian Bittle and myself on this. So this is not just some flippant comments. We'd see liquidity rising going forwards. There's sources of liquidity everywhere, from the Fed cutting rate, from the Treasury draining the general account, to the Fed cutting QT, to potentially the Treasury offering some liquidity provisions to China so they can manage the debt deflation. They're starved of dollars. Something with Japan, who also needs dollars because there's their currency's been collapsing. There is a lot of opportunities. The Europeans are going to cut rates. The UK are going to cut rates. There's a lot of opportunity for liquidity. The Fed may, let's say, spin up a special purpose vehicle to get rid of commercial real estate from the banks. Who knows? But the cowbell is coming. Listen out for it. It's already started. So the banana zone is all cowbell and markets going parabolic. So hopefully that gives you some understanding of what I think lies ahead. Will it be perfect? No. Does it chop around here for another month or two? Could do. Does it finish? If I look at the previous cycles.
The cryptocurrency industry is set up to continue to grow and change for decades to come, which will include big price increases. Every 4 years, we see the fund move from macro and crypto spring to summer and fall, with prices going through the roof during each of these times. Cycles will be marked by big increases in the global money supply as central banks try to save their economies from possible collapse. It's not hard to see how this could all fit together: an explosive rise in the money supply, new technologies that are developing at the same fast rate, and the cryptocurrency industry at the center of it all. What do you think about Raoul Pal's predictions for crypto tech stocks and macro in 2024 and beyond? Please leave your thoughts and predictions for your favorite crypto assets in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to get more videos like